You got Dale Jr. Mr. Rightful winner. And that's here's the here's the ultimate screw job. Here's the ultimate mistake that Brian France made. That Brian France himself made. Brian France, a CEO of a driving sport, decided that he's going to take drugs. He's going to be addicted to drugs in the 2018 season, 2017 season, and let's talk about the caution clock for the Truck Series. Another gimmick that Brian France created. And 20 minutes of green flag racing in every single Truck Series race. That is the most idiotic and stupidest thing I have ever experienced as a NASCAR fan. You don't need 20 minutes. You don't need a 20-minute caution clock in a Truck Series event. A precursor to stage racing. I mean, I'm okay with stage racing, but you don't need stage cautions. I'm not okay with stage cautions because you can still complete the distance of a race and still have stages, and still have that yellow and that green and checker come out to end the stage. It ain't that hard. You don't need cautions. You don't need cautions between stages. The precautions magically disappeared when the stage cautions came out. But now it's a predetermined yellow. You have 2 debris cautions per race, every single race of this in every single season. Ryan France must be on drugs or something, and then he would change the point, and yet he would change the playoffs again. Now you have stage points and playoff points to get yourself into the playoffs. The wins don't even matter anymore. Now in 2017, ever since stage racing is introduced, wins don't even matter. Wins don't even matter no more. All you need now is stage points and playoff points, and you're in the playoffs. And wins. You have like 5, maybe 6 wins. You have like 5, maybe 6 playoff points. Get yourself into the playoffs. Can you stick? Yeah. Again, Brian France can't pick a format and stick to it. And that CEO cannot in any circumstance make his mind up for anything make his mind up for anything whatsoever. He changed the playoff format not once. He changed the format in 2007. He changed the format in 2012. He changed the format in 2013. He changed the format in 2014. He changed the format again in 2017 by adding stage points. And that's 5 times. That's 5 times he reworked the system. It was already gimmicky enough, and now it's even more gimmicky. Wins don't matter no more. Playoff stage points do matter. That's the one thing I don't like. That's one thing I despise about stage racing. Playoffs. That playoff format. It lacks legitimacy. And Brian France decided to be dumb. And Brian France decided to do the most dumbest thing he ever did. He was in 2018. He was on drugs. Addicted to a drug known as oxycodone. And he decided to drink alcohol. And then in 2018, and the same day that Chase Elliott got his first Sprint Cup Series win at Watkins Glen, driving the number 9, the same car that his father driven in the 1980s, before Bill Elliott drove for Junior Johnson. Chase Elliott got his first win of his career in 2018 in the Sprint Cup Series race at Watkins Glen. You think that win will fix the cracks of NASCAR's dam? You think it'll fix the damage that Brian France caused? Well, thanks to but nope, it actually worsened it. Brian France worsened it, made it a whole lot worse. Getting in trouble with the police, getting pulled over out in the freeway, getting arrested, getting in legal trouble, getting in trouble. The CEO of a driving sport, getting in trouble, getting in legal trouble with the police. And guess what happened? Brian France was arrested for DUI. Brian France, the CEO of NASCAR, was arrested for DUI, and he was addicted to a drug named oxycodone. I cannot believe a CEO of a sport, a CEO who runs the sanctioning body of a sport, would do anything that's stupid like that. Trash, and it wasn't just the arrest. It was. Look what it did to Chase Elliott's win. His first win in the Sprint Cup Series. A young driver. He was struggling to get his first win from when he first entered the Sprint Cup Series in 2016 until that day in 2018 when he got his first win at Watkins Glen. His first win at Watkins Glen. Brian France has the nerve anyway to get arrested for DUI. Drive out there on the highway and get busted by the police for DUI. After you know what it did to Chase Elliott's win? It tarnished Chase Elliott's first win. It tarnished Chase Elliott's first win at Watkins Glen, and it tarnished NASCAR. It literally just damaged the reputation of a sport that his father created. Brian France getting arrested for DUI. Tarnish the sport. Look, tarnish the sport that you run. Tarnish the sport that you run. That you're the captain of. That ship. You managed to tarnish the ship. You managed to tarnish a young driver's legacy, a young driver's first win, in order to drive in the highway and get your truck and get busted by the police for drinking alcohol while driving, getting drunk while driving. That's on you. They ain't on NASCAR. That's on you, Brian France. You made that mistake. Now you're gonna suffer from it because you are a CEO of a driving sport, a CEO that you're literally responsible of a sport that you're literally responsible of taking care of. You managed to neglect the drivers. You managed to neglect the drivers in their opinion on the playoffs. You managed to create the playoffs anyway. You managed to screw drivers over. over a gimmicky system. You managed to manipulate races, and then you got yourself busted by the police. And you tarnished. You know what your arrest did? You know what that arrest did? It tarnished a win. It tarnished a win of Chase Elliott's first win. His first win that he got in 2018. You tarnished it. You trashed it. You trashed a win. You trashed a win that a young driver got. That young driver finally had. That young driver finally struggled with through 2017, throughout his first year in the Sprint Cup Series, throughout his years in the Xfinity Series, won a championship in the Xfinity Series, and yet he got a win in the Sprint Cup Series, and you happen to trash it. You know, and you think that's bad? Look what happened. Look at that race of the Food City 500, 2018 at Bristol. Look at the grandstands at Bristol Motor Speedway. That track was literally the favorite short track. The favorite short track the favorite short track of in the season. Look at it and look at it. Look, it has look at that. Look what he has done. Look at the damage that he has done to that track. Those grandstands, I've seen that race in the 2018 Fiat City 500, and of course it rained. Of course, rain has something to do with it. It rained. It was some of the race was postponed from Sunday night to Monday night, and the track. And guess what else? The track was still empty. The track was still empty. Very few fans were at that race at Bristol. Tracks like Richmond Raceway used to have grandstands in the front straightaway. Used to have grandstands in the back straightaway. Used to have grandstands all around the track. Guess what the track owners did? Tore up half of those grandstands. Tore up half of those grandstands. Tore up half of those grandstands. Comics, people were literally trashing the sport, giving the sport a bad reputation, making fun of the sport, laughing at the sport, a sport that your father created, and you happen to get out there in that freeway and get arrested and get arrested. You are responsible. You are a CEO of a sanctioned body. You are literally a CEO of a sport that NASCAR hired in 2003. That everything, those tracks, those drivers, the series, the Sprint Cup series, those charters, those pit crews, they are your responsibility. They are you are responsible for everything in the series. It's your responsibility to run the sport, to run the sport, and to maintain the fan base, and maintain that damn legitimacy. It is your responsibility. But nope, guess what you did? And guess what Brian France did? Brian France got arrested, had to get so high up in drugs, got to get so high up in oxycodone, and he managed to get in trouble with the police. The same day that Chase Elliott got his first win at Watkins Glen, you tarnished that win. It wasn't the sanctioning body's fault, Brian. You tarnished that win for Chase Elliott. You literally trashed it. You tarnished that victory. That Chase Elliott had his first, a young driver's first win, his first Sprint Cup Series win. Brian France had to go do a stupid stunt like that. Brian France had to go inside his car and get in legal trouble with the police. And guess what happened? Brian France is done. He's not CEO anymore. And Jim France, his uncle Jim France took over. And became CEO. But damage is already done. Brian France, damage is already done. Thanks to Brian France himself. Couldn't stay out of trouble. Couldn't stay out of drugs. Couldn't keep legitimacy.